boom! Frank Vogel is fired from Phoenix. He's out as the head coach, and they have a lot of work to do as a staff, right? Because at the end of the day, for Phoenix, it's a small window for them as a team. It's a very small window. Championship windows don't last long. Before you know it, they're gone. Like a good gust of wind. So I think for Phoenix, I think this is the best move that they could make, because I just don't, and this I've been feeling for a while now, is if you look at the roster Vogel had, sorry about that, but if you look at the roster Vogel had when he won a championship in LA, because it was like, oh, he's a championship coach, right? You fire him. If you look at the roster he had, that roster was consisted of JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis, and do I have 3 bigs who were really good on the defensive end, could rebound, and could be rim protectors at all times. And then most of the time, it was either Anthony Davis and one of them two. So we had 2 bigs at all time. So that was able, and then having Caruso, having KCP, plus LeBron, who we know can defend when he wants to, at this point in his career. You know what I'm saying? So having that kind of roster and makeup of roster was really vaulted him, because he's a defensive minded head coach. So I think that's what everybody's overrated. Like, oh, well, he's a championship coach. Yeah, but this roster, if they were ever going to get to where it needed to be for Vogel, it wasn't going to, I don't know if it could have been next year. I don't think so, because think about it. Phoenix has no point of attack defenders. We have no bigs that could do what he wants to do. This is roster's built for offense, and it's built to score a lot of points. This is a roster I love to see a guy like Steve Kerr coach, somebody like that. An offensive minded, a guy that, it's not a roster where you would want a defensive minded coach to come in and try to, make chicken out of chicken scratch. That's not the kind of roster that Phoenix has. So, I mean, for Phoenix, I think the big thing for them, and that's why I think it was smart to let go Vogel. I mean, it wasn't working. And on top of that, not saying that we know what's going on behind the scenes, but when Bradley Beal's running off the court, he smacks the coach's hand away. Yeah, you've lost our respect. I don't know if y'all heard, but I think The Athletic or some of the New York Times, they said that after, I don't know if y'all remember, but they had the Suns that got blown up by the Clippers. It was like a blowout, and then it was no Kawhi, and then they went and played them and they barely beat them, but all them dudes are out. A lot of them, they played them again in LA, and Kawhi, Russ, Paul George, all out. They still somehow barely won that game. Bones highlighting them dropping like 40. And then they ended up winning. But then, like, before the game, apparently they had like a walkthrough, whatever, and they said Frank Vogel ripped into that Phoenix Suns team and the players, and he ripped them a new one. Well, let me tell you something. They said that, according to sources, that while he was doing that, one player came out and said, or it was anonymous, one player said that he had to stop himself from laughing. What that tells me is, your team has lost all respect for you, right? When you're a coach of a team and your players and you're supposed to be ripping into them and they're laughing at you, you've lost all respect. This isn't just championship coach roster, stuff like that. Remember, these guys are human beings. It's about, do your players respect you? Hearing that and then seeing Bradley Beal smack your hand away makes you think your players didn't respect you at the back end of your time in Phoenix. And when players lose respect for you and people lose respect, how can I listen to what anything you have to say? How can I believe in you 110%? I can't. I don't respect you. So I think people have to put that in the equation too. They lost respect for him, and that's just what it is. So it's not just about, what can you do on the court? It's how you are off the court, and does your team respect you, and do they listen to what you have to say, and do they really value what you're saying, or is it in one ear and out the other because this guy don't know what he's talking about? I mean, y'all have to put that in the question too. I think when it comes talking about whether it was a good move to fire head coach or not. So I think for Phoenix, now that was the best thing they could have done for them. One of the best things they could do, because this roster was going to get what it needs to be. I don't think so in a year from now. It was going to be too much, and they need a coach that can match them up what they have now. But you know what I'm saying, this roster just wasn't built for Frank Vogel to coach it. But now I want to go to the candidates, and my number one candidate would be J.J. Redick. I think he's that good. I think J.J. Redick, because here's why. For LeBron to do a podcast with you is one thing. For LeBron to do a podcast that's talking about strategies and schemes in the game of basketball at the highest level, for LeBron to do a podcast about basketball, we're talking schemes and strategy at the NBA level, the highest level of basketball in the world, and for him to sit there and do a podcast with you for an hour, multiple times, he's done this multiple. He's had like they have like 2 or 3 episodes for just an hour, and they talk schemes and all that stuff, and he's breaking down stuff. For LeBron to do that, you have to be. Remember, LeBron's one of the smartest players the league's ever seen. You have to be so. LeBron has, first of all, has to have a major amount of respect for you. And you have to be so smart and intelligent as a player for LeBron to actually have respect for you to do that. Sit down there and listen to what you have to say. You have to be so smart, and LeBron has to just think so highly of you. That's the only way that's gonna happen. And I think, first of all, LeBron's giving him the pass. Like, yeah, this he knows what he's talking about. On top of that, I think we're starting to enter a new era where, well, maybe not new era, but I think we're starting to enter where we're seeing more coaches. NBA players become coaches. I mean, we had Nash, he got fired, but it was Nash wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. Then you have Kid in Dallas who just got extended. Then you have Billups from Portland who they said if he gets fired, teams would be interested in hiring him. So I think you're starting to see more NBA players become coaches just because of how smart they are, and then just because of they understand what these players are going through on a day-to-day basis. Like they understand how to talk to the players. They've been in those positions. They've been in all these late game playoff games, taking a day off, like going through the playoffs to grind. And then they also have to connect with players because, first of all, J.J. Redick, I don't know if anybody's ever had a bad interaction with him. He has a podcast where he talks to all these players before. So the NBA players love him, even whether, on every team across the league. So I think just for the fact that he's a likable guy, he's nice. He doesn't come off like as too stern. He doesn't come off as like a hard-headed guy. He comes off a very chill, like open-minded. I want to talk to you. Like he seems like a guy like you could talk to, and he you could. He doesn't like. He's not one of them guys. Oh, you can't teach me nothing. You don't know. I'm an NBA player. You can't teach me nothing. I already know. He seems so open to. I know a lot, but I can always know more. I can always learn more from anybody I talk to. So I just like that about Reddit. So if I'm the Suns, first of all, we obviously know KD. If Steve Nash tells you anything, it should tell you that KD probably will. JJ Redick would probably be high on Kevin Durant's list of NBA head coaches. If Steve Nash, because Steve Nash wasn't even. I don't even know. I mean, now it's kind of just random, but JJ Redick, I mean, he has an even better case than Steve Nash did for getting the head coaching job. So if Steve Nash tells you anything about Kevin Durant, is that JJ Redick will probably be pretty high on his list. Just because, you know what I'm saying? He also has a preference, and he also has a certain amount of affinity for coaches that have been players, especially of those kind of guys caliber. So on top of that, having the X's and O's, and I think he'd just be able to, and then being an offensive, JJ Redick is an offensive player. I think him understanding is all. But even then, JJ Redick just knows so much about just offensive defense and how to get his players in the best position to succeed and how to play to people's strengths. He's just so smart. I think it'd be a homer hire for Phoenix. On top of the fact that I think the players are going to respect him because he's already done this for 15 years. He had a really good career. And when LeBron respects you, and all these other guys are doing podcasts with you, Luka Doncic and Durant and all them and Booker, and it's because they respect you and they respect you as a player and they respect your knowledge of the game and they respect what you say and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think just respect how it was for Vogel would be a thing for Redick. And I just think he would relate to the players so much more, and they would really feel like, okay, this guy knows how we feel. He knows where we're coming from. You know what I'm saying? On top of his knowledge already, I think that'd be a homer hire for Phoenix. I think it'd be a homer hire with him and the way that roster is built. I think if they just get some bigs for him, because they already have the offense. I think JJ Redick could. I think JJ Redick could really scheme up an offense for Phoenix. And really do some nasty stuff with Grayson Allen and all them. And so I think I heard Budenholzer. I'm not too high. I don't know. I'm not too high on him. I'm not too hot on him. I think Redick will be my number one guy. I'm not high. I'm not really high on Budenholzer. He was a good coach. But to me, is he an offensive minded guy? First of all, is the first question I think you have to ask. Is he an offensive minded guy? And on top of that, I'm not going to speak on Budenholzer because, this is for all these things is fresh. So I'm just giving my initial thoughts, but I'm going to have to do more research on him and see what happened in Milwaukee. What do people think about him? Stuff like that. But I like Redick. I think you go out and get Redick and, and go from there. I think if the Suns get Redick, man, and they can build that roster the way Redick needs it to be built, and that GM want forget the GM, but the way that Redick wants it built and Durant don't want it built, I think they could have some. I think they could have something really, really special because Redick just seems like he seems so smart. I mean, I really am a big fan of him, and just the way the players, the fact that he has a knowledge on top of having the compassion and the love and respect from players, and he can connect with players, and they just love talking to him. I think this is something that I think he's a really good candidate, and I really think he deserves a chance. I think I would take that chance. I would take it. I mean, right now who else is really? I don't really care if Budenholzer is. I don't know. My question is, and I gotta go do this on this, but why'd you get fired from Milwaukee in the first place? Is the first question. Because you lost in the first. Like, are we gonna forget about that? I mean, this dude lost in the first round to the Heat or whatever with Holiday and Milton and all them dudes, and kind of just flamed out at the back end of his time in Milwaukee, and you know what I'm saying. So, like I said, I'll do my research. If I'm wrong or saying something that's not true, y'all fact check me because this is just my initial thoughts. I never really did much research in the Biddle situation, so I'm just seeing it. And that whole Miami series a year ago, I know some injuries that went down, so I'm not sure exactly, but I just remembered. All I remember from Budenholzer was that they lost to Miami in embarrassing fashion when everybody thought they should have won that series. That's just what I remember from Budenholzer, and I don't know if I want that as my coach. I really go get Redick. And I'm be honest. And how would Budenholzer mesh with the players? Those kind of Vogel on them. Are they people person? Like, I know Redick's a people, but he can connect with anybody. He's cool. He can sit down and talk to you all day. Budenholzer, is he that type of guy? That's what comes when it comes to getting like guys for Durant and them. You have to have the personality on top of having the knowledge. And if you don't have that personality and the charisma and just to be able to connect with the players, I'm not sure if he just, when I look at Budenholzer, he looks like some old grumpy guy that seems pretty stern on his stuff. So that's why I'm just not too high on him. But I think Redick will be a home run hire for Phoenix. I think that's the step they should take. If they do that, and they can get some bigs and get some defense and get a point guard on this roster and make some moves in the offseason, then I think they could be for a special season next year and make a championship run. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Suns. And my number one candidate, like I said, will be Redick, and I don't have a number 2, number 3 right now. I did hear about somebody from Miami. I'm not sure his name, but I'm gonna do some more research on that. And when I get some more research, I'll give y'all my top 5 candidates, or like my top 2, like 2 or 3, or like 2 or 3 candidates, and then I'll give y'all my I'm hearing this, and then here my guys. I was probably like, I might give y'all like my top 2 or 3 candidates. I think Phoenix shouldn't go after. Like, people are saying they should go after. I feel like they shouldn't go after them because this wouldn't work. So I'm gonna do some more research on that for y'all. But until then, I'm gonna see y'all next one. Expect a video tonight from the Mavs breakdown. I'm gonna be doing a Mavs Thunder breakdown. I'm pretty sure Nuggets play today too. I'll be doing a breakdown on that too. So y'all be ready. We're gonna be in for an action-packed day today. It's gonna be a great day of NBA basketball. I'm gonna see y'all next one. We out.